Okay, start from the bow. First of all, your bow roller has a tiny gap here, right? Your 6mm rope, there's a chance that when it's under high stress, your 6mm rope may get jammed into the gap. So I recommend take out the stainless steel sleeve and trim down the sleeve so that there's almost zero gap between the bow roller and the metal plate. Number two, your bow roller is designed to handle huge amount of stress when it's getting pulled down. However, if the force is pushing up, it's not very good at it. It may, flex the bowsprit and may even bend it. Especially you have your bowsprit mounted this far out forward. When you mount your winch on a slightly curved surface, for example this front of the boat, because it's slightly curved, you can add these rubber washers. These washers come from the mounting bracket of a Minn Kota bow trolling motor. So this way it will mount flat. It is important to have a switch at the front of the boat. For me, I put it inside the anchor well. So there's a tiny little rocker switch inside the anchor well. I can use it to control the winch when I'm at the front of the boat. Sometimes you may need to flick your anchor upside down to clear the winch post when you're launching the boat. I use a rocker switch because with rocker switch it's more waterproof, and also you only need to drill I think it's a 10mm or a 12mm round hole to mount it. While if you have a toggle switch, I use a toggle switch. If you have a rocker switch, you will need to cut a massive rectangular hole, which is not as easy in tight spaces. I recommend do not use the control panel that supply from Lone Star, because first of all, this circuit breaker is completely useless. You will never trip the circuit anyway unless there's something really wrong within the motor. And in terms of overloading the winch, well, if you hear the motor the winch start to bog down and load up, that's the time you should stop winching and find out what's wrong. So either something stuck or your boat is in a wrong angle. Like for example, your anchor is behind the boat. So that's when the winch will load up. That's when you should stop. So I would recommend do not use this, and get something called, you still need a circuit breaker. I will get something like a surface mount circuit breaker. So instead of a flush mount that you have to cut a massive hole, I will get a surface mount circuit breaker and mount it somewhere behind the dash or somewhere, but that's entirely up to you. I have integrated the switch for the winch within this switch panel, so there's no need for that rocker switch. So as you can see, all these are toggle switch, on and off toggle switch, except for this one, it's a two-way momentary toggle switch. And I'll tell you the reason in a minute. Okay, now this is the back of the two-way momentary toggle switch. As you can see, this is a 3-pin version instead of the 6-pin. It's much better to get the 6-pin because, the 3-pin, because in the 6-pin it's got a much stronger spring within the switch. you will need a lot of muscle, I mean a lot of force to press on it to, you know, to use the winch. And the reason behind that is that when you have the winch all the way up, you want to do like micro adjustment just to get the anchor all the way to lock into the bowsprit, but you don't want the anchor to be, you know, jamming onto the bowsprit, which is putting stress on your bowsprit. And I'll show you here. At the reverse solenoid, as you can see, the output, it's got I got the terminal there, and it's got two, this one and this one, it's got two wires. So one of them come from the switch at the helm, and the other one goes to the switch at the front of the boat. So the reason why I use a two parts this toggle switch, let me switch it off and I'll show you. I have it set to, when you push down is to push the anchor up, and push up is to drop the anchor. This one, the switch, it requires so little force to push it. I can use my pinky finger and I can move it. The reason is that when the anchor is all the way at the bow, when you need to do micro adjustment, because when the drum is full, just a tiny bit of movement, it will move the anchor a lot. It's so much easier when you push down, you can tap that thing, you can tap the switch, that will allow you to make small movements like that. I'll show you. On top of that, this two-way switch is the toggle is much longer than a normal switch. That's why there's a stainless steel, not stainless steel, I cut a small aluminium rectangular with a hole in the middle, so it will offset this the back of the switch further back. This allowed the switch at the front to be on the same level as the other switch, as you can see here.